Did you catch my video on super sexy animalic and musky fragrances video where I featured this new fragrance from the house of Orto Parisi called CUOIUM? Well, today I've got a full review for you for CUOIUM. I'm going to break it down for you and let you know what this fragrance is all about. So, find out about CUOIUM from the house of Orto Parisi coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yes, I'm doing a video review for a Orto Parisi fragrance. You guys have been asking me to do more reviews for this house. So here it is. I've got a review for CUOIUM, the latest fragrance from this house. And I'm going to dig deeper into the house and let you know about fragrances and perhaps do more reviews on this particular collection. The fragrances are all by Alessandro Gualtieri, who also owns Nasomatto, whereas Nasomatto fragrances are 30 ml. These are 50 ml bottles for the Orto Parisi collection. So anyway, I'll let you know all about CUOIUM. But before I do, if this is your first time tuning into the channel and you still haven't subscribed, please do click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So this is my very first review for this fragrance. I have one fragrance from this house and I'm completely drawing a blank. I don't even remember what it is. I had bought a tester from somewhere. But either way, first full review for an Orto Parisi fragrance. And this is a fragrance from ZGO Perfumery. There is a discount code I have for ZGO Perfumery. It's a 15% off discount code. It's Perfume Guy, but it does not apply on every fragrance brand. So double check with them, but you can use that discount to save 15% off or take 15% off of various different fragrances. But this is a 2021 launch, CUOIUM. 50 ml is $195, and again, the perfumer is Alessandro Gualtieri, and of course he has Nasomatto, where those are 30 ml bottles for about the same price. As soon as you look at this bottle, and the cover it has on it, or this little whatever that they've got on the bottle, you'll notice that it's a leather, and of course that's the kind of fragrance you're going to get. And with this brand, Orto Parisi, and I believe with this brand, but definitely with Nasomatto, and especially this particular fragrance, they don't publicize notes, so basically you're left to imagine the notes that you're smelling. And what are you gonna think you're going to smell with this one? First of all, I smelled this fragrance at an event at ZGO Perfumery and I wanted to review it because I liked what I smelled. So it is leathery. That's the first thing you will pick up with this particular fragrance. And it's also rough. There's roughness there and dryness there. And as soon as you smell it, when you smell the different facets of this fragrance, you'll immediately say, okay, this is a masculine fragrance. It leans masculine. It leans on the other side of the scale. And definitely it's manly. Very, very manly and a bit ferocious as well because it has a lot of rough qualities about it. So it's mostly the leathery notes that you start smelling if you like spray it on a strip and you start testing the fragrance out. But when you wear it, it starts getting musky and animalic. So right off the bat, it starts acting animalic and musky on me. And whether they're using musk or some animalics or synthetic animalics, because I doubt they use the realistic stuff, you do experience the animalics with this particular fragrance. But lots of leatheriness. And for me also, when I wear this one, it gets smoky. Sometimes I think I'm smelling there's tobacco feature in this particular fragrance, and it's ashiness, it's smokiness that is kind of like, blooming on myself, contrasting with that musky animalic qualities. But other times I feel like it's more like an incensey note. So there's times I'm thinking it's incense, sometimes I'm thinking it's tobacco. But there is a little bit of an ashiness in here, like the smoked cigarette and the ashes in an ashtray. That kind of experience is present here. And I've spoken a lot about ashy tobacco and fragrances like Tobacco Vanille, where you have that contrast of vanillic sweetness. This one does not have that, although it does have ambery qualities, because it eventually settles to kind of a leathery, ambery, animalic, musky fragrance, but not much sweetness with this particular fragrance. So the animalics and the muskiness kind of blooms a lot more here, and then also the tobacco-ish ashiness also is a lot more prominent in this particular fragrance. But overall though, when you spray the fragrance, leather hits you right away, and I believe leather is the main note here. Obviously it's covered in a leather casing, so leather is the prominent note, and I would call this a leather fragrance. woody leather, amber, all come to mind with this particular fragrance. And there's spicy qualities. There are lots of spicy qualities. You experience them. Perhaps there's some spices thrown in, but I think it's more about these main notes that I'm thinking I'm smelling that are creating spiciness, because I'm not picking up something like cinnamon. I don't get like a cinnamony touch, a clove, maybe a little nutmeg. It's a little non-distinct, but there's definitely some spiciness in there that are contrasting with all the animalics and muskiness and the leathery, the smokiness in here. But along the way, you're also experiencing the ambery touches. And again, it's a dry amber because this fragrance is a dry fragrance. Where's dry? The experience is dry. Even when it's drying down to the ambery qualities, it experiences a dry down. Does that make sense? The other thing I want to point out about this fragrance, it doesn't act beastly. Even though the smell is beastly, it doesn't come off beefy. It's airy. There's an airiness about it, but it has a lingering power that I like about it because it doesn't wear beefy, heavy, thick. Because as I said, there's an airiness about it. And I think it's perfect that way because it has these animalic and musky touches and an overdose of leather. If it was thick and heavy and dense, I don't think this would be a wearable fragrance. It would be overwhelming. But because it has this airiness and it's nicely featuring the leather, the muskiness, and the animalics, I think it wears beautifully that way. And as I said, it does have great lingering power, but it's not something that projects too much. Like you're going to experience the thinness or the airiness about this fragrance, even though it wears rough and animalic, if that makes sense. So this is my very first review of an Orto Parisi fragrance. I actually really need to explore the house myself. I don't know much about it, and a lot of you have been mentioning for me to, sample the fragrances and review for you. And I'm enjoying this particular fragrance, the leather, the animalics, the muskiness, and the very masculine quality about it. I like it. I do enjoy it. And this is the kind of animalic that's bearable. At least for me it is. Everybody has a different degree of how much animalic fragrances they can tolerate. I can tolerate this much, and I'm saying that I enjoy this particular much, but some of you might tolerate a lot less, and there's some of you out there that might tolerate a lot more. But for me, I find this wearable, even though it is animalic, even though it is musky, and even though it's overly leathery. So you just have to sample it if you like the idea of it. But I really enjoy this one. I find it super sexy, but very masculine. If you're a woman and you're wanting to try this, I would definitely try it. It's a unisex marketed or targeted fragrance. But for me, these kind of fragrances lean masculine because there's no flowers. I'm not picking up any flowers in this particular fragrance. I'm not picking up, anything that kind of goes into the fresh side or the floral side. I don't pick up much citruses in this fragrance, although there might be some in there, but maybe they're like very, very supporting players. There could be some flowers in here as well, but for me, that's not what this fragrance is all about. For me, it's mostly about the animalic qualities, lots of leather. So either we're getting the animalics from the leather in this particular fragrance, or there's the addition of kind of synthetic animalic notes that are kind of like made to smell like you're wearing, something like civet or deer musk, or maybe even ambergris kind of a experience here, because it definitely is present, but it's also definitely prominent. Anyway, those are my thoughts on CUOIUM. From the house of Orto Parisi. I will dig into this house a lot more come 2022 because we are almost there, and I want to explore. So if you have a favorite Orto Parisi fragrance, let me know. Put a comment down so I can find out what I should review next. But this is the latest. And I definitely recommend this one. But be warned, if you're very sensitive to animalics and you can't tolerate them, you might find this one very, very animalic and a little rough to wear. If you like a little bit of it, you might enjoy this one because, as I said, I'm enjoying it, and I like its qualities. And just one more time, I'll stress this. If this fragrance didn't wear thin on me or airy on me, I think it would be overwhelming. It's just the right balance of animalics and the density of the fragrance experience that wears perfectly on me. But yeah, let me know other fragrances from Orto Parisi I should check into, and I'd dig into it. I know there's an aquatic one that a lot of people recommend, but I recently tested it out and it was not for me. So what other fragrances from Orto Parisi I should check out? Let me know. Other than that, guys, thanks so much for watching today's review for CUOIUM. I do have it linked to ZGO Perfumery in the info box, and I have that discount code there. Go check out this fragrance or other fragrances at the ZGO Perfumery. Just be warned, if you want to take advantage of that discount code, just double check to make sure it will work on the fragrances you want to purchase from there. The other good thing about ZGO Perfumery is they do sell samples as well. Anyway, thanks so much for watching today's video just before Christmas on Orto Parisi's CUOIUM. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video, please share it, follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.